free throws, 100 free throws every night, and for hours and hours and hours. But my height was never growing that fast, and so I kind of stayed at that 5'6" height, which kind of hurt, But I always, of course, had a huge dream of making the NBA. But the ball boy, me being the ball boy for you and the Blazers was kind of my version of making the NBA, I guess. The tell I won't hold you too much longer. Tell us a little bit about Scorebook Live and what that's all about, and how they can find you.
Yeah, so Scorebook Live is a company that I've worked with for about 5 years now, and we started. We're a sports and media and technology company, but we started with a basketball replacement scorebook technology that essentially was a replacement for the pen and paper scorebook. It was an app that would also stream online, allowing fans to follow a game that was being scored with our product online, just as for a youth or a high school game, the same they would for a college or NBA game. So that was the initial product. Then we grew it to a football product with the same capabilities and ideas. But in turn, what we learned was, even though we liked the product, there was lots more things that were more pressing to high school state associations, to high school programs, to high school athletic directors, and really just markets across the country that cover high school sports. And so we have since evolved and grown from just a couple scoring products to being a partner with state associations across the country. We've got a signed agreement with the state of California, Mississippi, Alabama. We're working on a few others as we speak. And so that's one arm that we have. The other arm is the media side, and that's really where I'm focused on. I work with a number of journalists in our Washington market and our California market on what we're going to do to help cover, promote, and enhance coverage for high school sports in those markets. And part of the main thing what I do now is provide a podcast with our two journalists in the state of Washington, as well as my own individual podcast that currently we're releasing one episode a day during this quarantine, unfortunately, with coronavirus. But it'll be going back down to probably two releases a week in the coming weeks. But it's a very fun, unique kind of market, I guess you could say, and it's something that we've grown now over the last 4 or 5 years, and we look to continue to make an impact positively for high school sports across the country.
Wow, that's awesome, Dan. So I think it was yesterday or the day before, Harry Glickman passed away, founder of the Portland Trail Blazers. And what was your what kind of went through your mind when you heard the news, and kind of his achievements of bringing the Blazers to Portland?
Yeah, I did see that come across Twitter, and I read an article or two yesterday. And there's obviously some sadness. I had met him in passing a couple times with the times that I was around the Blazers. Never had any long conversations whatsoever with him. But I mean, anybody that is a Blazer fan owes him a huge amount of thanks. He was a pioneer in the world of sports for the Portland area, to have the foresight that the NBA could come to Portland and the NBA could have success. So, I think that's the first thing that came to mind in regards to his unfortunate passing. Just a big thanks for his vision and what he was able to do to bring the NBA to Portland, and the fact that it's grown to be an integral part of the Portland community. It's been amazing.
Yeah, well said, Dan. And of course, this whole year has been kind of crazy. Passing of Kobe, David Stern, Jerry Sloan. It just seems like I don't remember a year prior to this where all those legends have passed away. It's just absolutely been tragic. To maybe touch base a little bit on that, and then the last question I was going to have for you was the NBA returning late next month. How do you feel that's going to all pan out? And is there going to be some type of a process, you think, with testing and what if we're halfway through the playoffs and a superstar like LeBron or Giannis or Kawhi come down with the virus? That could really, that would definitely change the landscape of the playoffs. Do you think? I guess this is kind of a three-part question. Do you think that there will be an asterisk to the whoever wins the title this year? I know that some people I've listened to kind of say there might be an asterisk to whoever wins the championship.
Well, I think first off, you mentioned the year 2020, and I know a lot of people are saying let's just get this year over with. And there's been a lot of devastating news this year. You mentioned Kobe. You mentioned Jerry Sloan, if you're a basketball fan. The coronavirus, all the racial unrest that's going on, and everything in regards to that. So, I don't ever want to say fast forward through a day or a year, because you got to make the best of what's in front of you. But I have a feeling 2021 is going to be much better than 2020, that's for sure. Then in regards to, the NBA resuming, and if there'd be an asterisk, some people are going to view it that there will be an asterisk once there is a champion crowned. But at the same time, you could say that about any other year when maybe a superstar had a devastating injury.
Yep.
Or something happened in regards to, impacting a team or two that could have been good. And then the other part you asked about, the NBA resuming. The only thing that I kind of can lean on with any type of confidence, or say with any type of confidence, is the NBA has always been the most proactive and progressive sports organization out there. They've been ahead of baseball. They've been ahead of football. They've been ahead of any sport that you can imagine, because of the leadership that they had under David Stern and now Adam Silver. As far as they're going to do everything they can to, when business is good, to keep moving things forward in a positive way for everybody. And then they're going to be at the forefront of some social issues. They're going to be at the forefront of health issues. They've done that with mental health. They've done that with a number of other things. I can't imagine that they would do anything that would put any of their players or their teams in any type of jeopardy, health-wise. And if any players felt that way, I am very sure that the NBA office and the league would wholeheartedly listen and figure out a different route, a different path to do it, if that's the case. I mean, the NBA has always been at the forefront of those type of things.
Well said, Dan. In closing, just wanted to, because of course me growing up idolizing Jordan, and then then we had Kobe and LeBron. Who do you think that next guy is going to be? I mean, with Zion now, and Luka and Trey, and some of the other guys. I know Giannis is still young, but I mean, as far as like the super, super young guys, who do you think that next guy could be to take over the league?
Well, I think, to me, it's Jordan, number one. And then I think you got a lot of really good guys that are battling for number two. Some of them are historical guys from the past, whether it's Wilt, whether it's Oscar Robertson, or current guys like LeBron, or recent guys like Kobe. I mean, it all kind of depends on what you value as a fan. Do you value individual numbers? Do you value, the beauty of the game, or the amazing, individual type of plays like some guys can have, or do you value championships? So there's so much of that kind of, it's all in the eye of the beholder. But the one I did talk about how the NBA does so many things at the forefront and does things well. I think the one thing, though, that has been difficult at times, or maybe a potential negative at times, is the fact that sometimes, and the NBA hasn't always done that, sometimes it's been media, sometimes it's been other players, they've tried to pinpoint a certain player as the next coming of somebody else.
Right.
And so then it puts all these unrealistic expectations on players at times, and I think you're going to see that a lot with Zion. I think he's going to be a very good player, but I think his expectations from what a lot of people were hoping for him and thinking they're going to see from him are just so out there and difficult, and that same can be said for. A Luka Doncic, a Trae Young. I mean, these guys have so many eyeballs and so many criticisms of them at such a young age where, unfortunately people are looking to tear these guys down before they're even able to build up their career to the point that anybody knows what they truly are yet. To another simply because, the fact that if you look at Trae Young's a phenomenal player. I mean, his numbers are off the charts. His shooting percentages are very good, all these different things. But, you're talking about teams and games that are played in 110 per game now. 25 years ago, the games were played in the mid 90s. I mean, so you're looking at 20 extra possessions a game where you're going to have more opportunities to produce numbers and all these different things. So, I think that's the hardest thing about, that figuring out who is the best player of all time is, the eras are so different in style of play and just the who and what you value as a critic or as someone who's ranking who's the best of all time.
Yeah, Dan. Well, thank you so much. That was really great stuff. I hope that you stay safe during all this crazy time. And maybe one of these days we could meet back up in person. Who knows? Maybe play horse or something. No, but no, but I just wish you all the best, and I'm just so happy that we could connect on this interview. And I just wish you nothing but the best, man.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate it. Best of luck with your podcast as you get it going, and hopefully maybe you find a hidden gem in your sports card collection as you look through those. So thanks a lot, and have yourself a great day.